watching this week's show with Dan and Mike.
This week's show podcast.
WrestleMania special.
Two things to cover. One, obviously, we are in a new place, but it's his living room.
Place.
We decided to watch it together, and then because we did not watch it UK time, which would have been through the night, meant that we could podcast afterwards. And we obviously also didn't do a prediction show because guess who got a chest infection and could not stop coughing?
This guy that I'm sat less than 5 feet away from.
So I've had the fun drugs from the pharmacist, and fortunately I should be able to get through this one without coughing to the point I can't breathe. WrestleMania, we've just done both nights. Not in this watch sitting, we both watched it separately yesterday, night one, didn't we?
Night one was separate.
Yep. And then thought, right, night two we got to do together. Partly because it was in many ways the stronger match card, I think. I know you love the Liv match.
Ovs. But
it was just stronger overall.
I think the Sunday just seemed to, the crowd seemed to be more in it.
Well, I think also, mate, let's jump straight into the person I'm wearing currently. I love Cody Rhodes. Like, I've been very honest about that. I love Randy Orton. But that match was confusing, man. Like, couldn't work out the...
More pantomime than...
And why was Randy so slow? It was almost like he'd lost his confidence, and then did he find it? Why did he attack Pat McAfee and then Cody afterwards? There's a lot of... Like, the Raw after WrestleMania is going to have to explain a lot on promo about that. The one thing, and the reason I'm wearing this T-shirt today, and I wanted to be proud of my boy, is the actual damage that Cody took.
He did take a bit of a bang, didn't he?
Yeah.
A bit like Liv the week before.
Like, the fact that she's still got the black eye and the golf ball sort of mark on her forehead. It goes to show that, you know, even the plan, because both of those spots were planned, the wrestlers still actually ended up taking a beating, but... It was also main event night one of WrestleMania. It was like, that's the commitment that somebody like Cody has to selling whatever the plan is.
But it wasn't the only silly fight, was it? Or silly match through the whole day, really. It started off with the YES doing the most ludicrous...
Splash, I believe it was called.
Yeah, I was going to say the biggest splash off, not the top barrier, but the actual post that... Yeah. If you get cursed, you apparently fart sparkles out of. if you saw Danhausen cursing Kit Wilson.
At some point, yes.
I think it was the week before last.
Yes.
You got cursed.
And then you got sparkles up the butt. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I got to be honest. I loved the little angle of YouTubers angry with each other with that. But the rest of it, I can't really remember anything that happened in that match.
Jelly Roll appeared.
Did he for that one?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was only like he came out to put McAfee through.
Well, that was it.
Yeah. I think, to be honest,
Speed had more screen time and involvement than Jelly Roll.
But I also wasn't like This is the thing which I'd like to try and go against the ICW Internet Wrestling community, is even though it wasn't the most entertaining. It was still better than every WrestleMania I watched when it was underneath Vince McMahon in like Ruthless Aggression and stuff like that. I was making a joke to Mike on the Sami Zayn match when he was getting booed as he tried to like fire himself up. I was like, this is what it was like watching every match underneath Vince McMahon. The weird booking, the stuff that doesn't make sense, the point where you realise, oh God, here comes the finish and they're doing the opposite of what makes sense or what people want. And obviously that didn't happen with the Sami Zayn one. People got what they want and Trick got the title. But it was quite interesting sitting there going, wow, this reminds me of what it was like actually underneath Vince. Because whether or not you agree with TKO's booking or whatever, or whether you agree with the writing staff at the moment, to me, it's still so much more a watchable product than the utter crap that used to be WrestleMania, you know? Like,
the Netflix era. I jumped in at the right time then, 18 months ago.
Well, apart from, you did do it because you knew how insane it was, because it's still one of our era, is you did WrestleMania 40 to sort of get ready for Netflix era.
I did.
And I'd say that's the only sort of big PLE thing that is a shame that it hadn't moved across by that point. But that was also 2 years of storytelling coming to a head on one night. And I think that's also something for me as a fan I've had to get used to over the last 2 WrestleManias, is that not every WrestleMania is going to be a big finish to a storyline. Some it's going to start them, some it's just going to continue them.
There's definitely going to be some interesting storylines because Bron Breakker showed up and
broke speed records again.
23 miles an hour he ran down that platform apparently.
And we both saw the same reel from a local page that we follow about taking the piss out of where we live. But it's just a loop of his face as he's sprinting down the ramp. But I love the fact he's back. He's one of my favourite sort of new era wrestlers. And especially to balance the fact, because Bron's back, is that because there's only so much room on a roster to have people's names starting BRO, because Brock went a surprise retired on us, which you did reveal that got spoiled 20 minutes before you watched it with us. But I was
probably checking my phone to see what time it was, because you were arriving fresh from your new buzz cut, and I looked at it. I was like, "Oh man,
really?"
And then you and Heidi, our manager, was sat chatting away, going "Oh, this is what's going to happen in the next sort of 6 months with Brock Lesnar." I
believe the rumours about SummerSlam.
He's going to retire at SummerSlam, and Gunther's going to do it.
That's what everybody, and that's why it works so well, though. Tricking everybody.
But I found that out 20 minutes before, and you were having this whole conversation about it.
I did wonder why you were being quiet.
I was just sat there
I did I was maybe he just doesn't care about it, which is odd because he liked over 2 weeks ago. But what I'm going to mention something our manager was chatting to us about whilst we were watching it, which I think is really one of the best things about the retirement thing is Brock finally being able to step out of the character of Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, and just be Brock the farm boy, standing there, getting
a little tear, and
it was the point that he stopped on the ramp because he actually needed to show people how much it meant to him. It shows he was very, very Undertaker-esque in that sort of sense, that every time we've ever seen Brock on either WWE TV or when he's out flying the flag of being a champion or whatever, it shows how much he did actually keep the kayfabe up constantly. Because I was with our manager. There was a point where I did wonder whether Brock actually cared, because, he seems so aloof in the ring and everything like that. And watching WrestleMania and the quitting, and he's actually struggling to take his boots off because the emotions getting to him. I'm watching him from the start to finish, because I've been a fan that long, that's really nice to know that he actually loved it as much as John Cena did, and the actual big reassuring hug from Paul Heyman after he had just taken him off as well, that was as genuine as Cody and CM Punk crying in the ring about where they've managed to get their careers from when they were really disillusioned with the business and all of this sort of stuff. And just to make it a bit more match focused, a big highlight was the 6-pack ladder match. I did really enjoy the fact that Javon Evans is going to be one of the most talked about people because of the spots that he managed to pull off and make look insane.
He had some good moves, didn't he? Mr. Bounce.
I also, unfortunately it was spoiled for you because of Rock and Metal, but Paige, oh my God, so pleased that she's back.
Yes.
Because I watched her back in the day when, you remember, it was me, Biff, and Fraze that used to watch wrestling.
Yeah.
Paige was one of the highlights of the Diva.
I remember you saying. And then obviously the film with The Rock in and
keeping
Fighting with My Family.
Fighting with family, not keeping up with. That's a different one. Fighting with My Family. But it was also just so upsetting because she was the best of the Divas because of the rules put on them whilst it was still the Divas division. And I watched a really awesome podcast with her the other day where she was saying, I just wish that WWE fans got a chance to see what me as Paige is like when I'm not being a diva and being told I can't wrestle the way that I know I can.
Well, they put a title on her straight away.
I mean, makes sense. They did very similar with Becky Lynch coming back, which I thought was a nice touch for Paige as well.
Yeah, I think she got the pop of the weekend.
Very much so. I mean, Bron was close with a return, but Paige was the unexpected one. And big love to Nikki Bella as well. Nikki Bella's been with the company long enough that if she really did want to sabotage that because of an injury, then that would never have happened. But she loves the business so much and is so much a wrestler. It's like, no, we do this instead. And that's why I like the fact that she got a moment where she got to hit a couple of people with some crutches and got to celebrate in the ring with Brie and Paige.
But does this now mean that she's going to go after Paige to...
There's storyline there, potentially.
There is, isn't there?
But that's the thing.
Or do they become like a three-way team of the three of them?
I think if she's actually got an ankle break, it could just be... Because don't forget, they put the titles on Lyra and Becky last year and took them away a week later. It's a return big moment for somebody that... Because I was talking about this with Ollie, my friend that we do the wrestling with, if it's not you. And there is a big difference between somebody coming back like CM Punk did, where he left under conflict, not because he was told he was never surgically allowed to wrestle again. Paige got the "we can't fix this with surgery" injury at that point. She then got herself healthy, got surgery, as surgery obviously improved. So when you return from an injury that stopped your career, I think there's just a different process that the writing team follow to show love.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
And even if your name's chanted like CM Punk's for 10 years whilst you're not there, how much more sort of organic was his title reigns, how much more believable, sincere, everything it needs to be, credible, I think is the word I'm looking for. CM Punk went from coming back, fighting his way back to a good title. And therefore, when he actually got the world title, we all went, yeah, that's...
It's just a shame he didn't keep it.
Oh, you say it's a shame. I was so pleased. I love CM Punk. This is not because he was a bad champion. I actually thought he was a fantastic champion. Since he lost to Cody Rhodes, I said that Roman's going to come back to the company and the next title he's going to win is the heavyweight because it's the one he hasn't had. So there's a personal box tick for him there.
Yeah.
But also the guy that, had the company on his back, all the things they say, he puts prestige on that title that's still only like 3 years old, I think. And that's good. I
just hope he defends it more often because he's only been a part-time wrestler for the past year.
He was a lot more full-time before he lost the title. When he was a champion, he was, as what we mentioned in another podcast, the reason why Roman carried the company is they unified the titles and he was walking out twice a week doing champion duty on both brands. It doesn't mean that when you're a unified champion, you stay on SmackDown and there's no champion on Raw. It means that he was running storylines on Raw and SmackDown. That's why it's always funny when people like, and CM did the promo about it, it's like, buddy, he literally did carry the company on his back. They were going out 2 nights a week on TV.
Well, they're both going to be on Raw, so that'd be interesting.
Well, I think that Punk looked like a fucking $1 million in that match. He is one of the only people that can sell looking fatigued and exhausted, progressing across a match.
Yeah.
And
because it's real. I mean, guy of his age.
I think, but again, that's just, I think, smart, is when you know that you're getting that. And it's a bit like when you're tipsy, but everybody else is drunk, and you kind of elevate yourself to a drunk level with the way that you're acting, because it's easier to... you're slightly there, and you can get yourself fully there. But I loved the way that whole shape went, kept me guessing the whole way through. Oh well, Roman's seeming strong at this point. He's just put Punk through a table. Oh wait, but then it's gone the other way, and until the actual finish, I still didn't know which way they were gonna play it. Which I think for a 1v1, no extra stipulations match, that shows how good they both are as main eventers.
It was a good way to end an enjoyable weekend.
Yeah.
It was very entertaining.
Yeah,
the
and
two
there was
different
lots of
looks. There was blood, 2 different looks for one for each day.
Yeah, the
title changes. It's everything it's everything you really wanted from a WrestleMania, I guess.
I mean, I don't mind that this is going to be a thing because it's a thing when I watch it anyway. I didn't exactly want the other result, but I'm not a Trick Williams fan. I think he's got some lovely mic work, and I don't think he's a bad wrestler. It could be boiling down just to the fact that I genuinely hate the trick shot. Because it's for a guy that looks that good in every other way, that can talk the way he does, come out on a rotating microwave plinth or whatever, to have
microwave
plinth, to literally have a finishing move which is just jump in the air with your legs splayed and call it a trick shot.
But if you look compared to this time last year, those NXT class of 2025 that come up to the roster now have two of them have won a WrestleMania event. This time last year, they were, getting signed up to the main roster. That's quite a year they've had. And Joe Hendry was in the Rumble match as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he had a different path because he was TNA.
Yeah, but he's also just lost the championship at NXT, and there's a couple of others that were in that Rumble
He'll be
match.
the class that comes up this year.
Yeah.
Because the year before it was Carmelo, Ilya Dragunov, and somebody else I can't remember. But we got told by Jack, one of the people we chat to about this, that we needed to watch an NXT main event. And it, funnily enough, was Javon, Trick and Ober. Triple threat.
And Ober, of course, yeah. So there's the three of them that have come up in the last year, and they've all won their matches at their first WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, no, Javon didn't win his. He didn't win the ladder match because he's not Intercontinental champion.
Oh, yeah.
I was saying that he's man of the match because he did the best spots with the twisted cutter to make sure he didn't hit the ladder and stuff like that. But no, Ober won and Trick did, but Javon still, that's the type of match, the six-pack match is the type of match where you don't need to win to look like a
But it
absolutely
lines
incredible.
him up to win this next.
I think that they're playing with Javon the same thing they're doing with Breakker. I was watching another podcast, can't remember, call me out if you've seen the same one, but they're saying that there's no rush to put a world title on Breakker because he's already that popular.
Yeah.
So they can do it as part of a really, really drip-fed, fun storyline. And I think the same thing's happened with Javon, is Javon is so naturally popular, so charismatic, and then he is, this generation's Jeff Hardy, but safer. Though Jeff, weirdly enough, actually worked safe most of the time and has never picked up a particularly bad injury. But Javon doesn't need a title at the moment to be as popular as he is.
And then neither does Trick Williams, but he's still got...
No, I mean, I think they had to put the title on him to show that the company thinks that he's more than a theme tune. Because there is sometimes, their gimmick becomes too much and...
Yeeting.
Yeah, I mean, look how it turned sour for Jay online.
And then now they try to do it as the Uso brothers, and it just doesn't have the same effect as when they came in on the Saturday. It was just
interestingly enough, they tried to do brand new entrance music.
Yeah.
That went so badly it was only once. They've now changed Jay Uso's main event music to Usos.
Yeah.
So
that's what I mean.
And I think that's going to work because then people can still do the eating. But they should have just gone straight to that rather than trying to do new music, because it's not that wrestling fans are fickle, but it's that kid element where the kids aren't going to understand that if it's not the music they recognise that they wanted to do that to, then they're not going to be able to celebrate with the people that they want to. But I just love the Usos. I think that Jay's going to go down as a case study in... loved in person, in arenas, stadiums, loved by other wrestlers. Phenomenal worker. He may not always make things look great, but he doesn't hurt people. And more importantly, doesn't hurt himself as well.
He's an LA Knight.
And he's going to go down as one of the best of our generation, because he can do a tag thing. He can do the main event thing. He can do funny on the mic. He can do angry on the mic. He can do emotional on the mic. And it was only the fact that, and this is the problem, is we got what we wanted. We chanted for him. He got the title, and then we weren't happy as like online community. I say we. I actually was. I have after he won, Yeet T-shirt because I still like him that much. I think he's fantastic. He knows how to work with other people. I think he's one of those where when people work with him, they are made better by how good he is to work with in the ring. He's like, again, for somebody that's not perfected his spear over 10 years like Roman has, he did very, very safe spearing of people, so he wasn't popping any kidneys or spleens, you know?
Or causing hernias.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit like when Nia, and I'm not sure you were watching at this point, but Nia had a really, really embarrassing Elimination Chamber one year because she went from being on Wrestlemania, shout out, top 10 most dangerous wrestlers, to at one Elimination Chamber, she was, she was trying so hard to work safe, it made her look bad for a while. But she worked safe and then got it to look good, whilst on that incredible weight loss journey that she's been on as well. And now she is the peak of her career, where she works safe, works well, and is one of the funniest on the mic. So I like safe working. I watched in the Attitude Era as people I loved got smashed around the head, and I watched for the 10, 20 years afterwards as we understood what CT is. And I also was one of those ones that cheered Benoit's name whilst he was a wrestler, and then got absolutely horrified by the heinous acts that he did, and now get disgusted with people that make a point of saying his name like he's some type of legend. You can admire his work. You can never approve of what he did.
We've had this conversation on podcasts about music stars that we like their music, but their heinous crimes
we don't
outweigh it. Yeah.
Yes.
Go back and watch some of our old episodes.
Yeah.
And whilst you're doing that, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that kind of usual stuff that we have to ask. It's mandatory per podcast.
Yeah.
Even Joe Rogan says it now and then.
I'm trying to think if they're... so obviously Liv won against Steph.
Of course.
That was kind of, for me, a given, because I think...
I called it, I texted you when she came back on Raw.
You said she was going to be a champion, yeah.
And I said, it's going to be Liv versus Stephanie.
Yeah.
I didn't know when, but it was going to happen.
The thing is I'm proud of Stephanie because her English at the start of her championship was terrible. By the time that she was cutting WrestleMania promos, you can tell that girl put in a hell of a lot of work to being able to do better promos.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to her having her better run as champion the next time she gets to the belt. This was good. I'm very pleased that she got the championship. Never had a problem with it.
It was an epic rise. Now she's got to fight for something now.
She said she needed probably to have actually worked on her English a lot more before being one of the world title holders of a multi-language company. I love the fact that, and I will never ever say that somebody that isn't a natural English speaker should only do English promos. That is never the point. I want to be able to connect with the person that I'm watching, so half and half, perfect. So that you're representing where you come from and being proud,
like
love
Asuka.
that. Yeah, but then there's enough for me to be able to listen to what you're saying and connect directly to it, rather than subtitles. Even though I watch everything with subtitles on, there is just that something lost. But then I also love, like, Io Sky is a great example of, I need to understand what she's saying half the time because I want to connect with her. But I also love how passionate she is when she's doing it in her own language. So the balance really works well. And I think Stephanie Vaquer got there for the WrestleMania promos, because compared to where she was and how much I struggled understanding when she won, to the last promo she cut against Liv being like, oh, okay, you're even learning tone. Fantastic. You feel angry in this promo. Let's go. Like, that's the thing about connecting emotionally to these storylines. It's really, really difficult if there's not as much there.
Yeah.
But I admire that Liv as well, because Liv is such a good sort of character, which is obviously who she is dialed up to 2000. But she's also, the reason that she's so loved backstage is she made sure that she carried the promos with Stephanie, that they both ended up looking good.
Oh, yeah.
And there was no I'm going to make you look bad because you're struggling. It's, I'm going to cover for you. And that's what I love about wrestling, is it's a bit like there's an angle that's been posted by a fan of after Randy punted Cody, where he actually goes over in the middle of the ring and immediately checks on him, because he can't punt anybody these days without checking how they're doing.
Yeah.
And like I said, the reason I'm wearing this one is the fact that Cody not being able to open... And I love the fact that one wrestling page was calling it makeup. It's like, there was no makeup artist in the middle of 50,000 people doing his eye.
A little touch up here and there.
Yeah, no, the fact that his eye's swollen shut is because he committed to getting kicked in the face. But yeah, I did laugh at that particular page trying to say, oh, it's all fake, don't believe the eye is actually injured. It's like, no, he had sutures on the back of his head, and he's proper beat up by this.
Yeah.
And he's not the only one. I mean, Punk's going to be, his head's going to be ringing. Because before he even bled from the forehead, I could see the blood on the teeth. Bled from the forehead. And then it just seemed like the two of them just hurt each other for the rest of the match.
There's definitely going to be some ice baths being plunged into.
Oh, 100. I think there's going to be also an ice bath for, who are the two that did the ladder move that didn't break? It was Penta and JD Madonna, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think those two. The fact that the ladder didn't give.
They can have right-angled scarring on their back.
I mean, I also love the fact that, because a manager caught it, that Rusev was so pleased with his moment through the ladder that he actually smiled at one point because it went so well, which was hilarious. But yeah, they did this was what I think Attitude Era done right looks like, is it's enough violence that you're like, oh, that was pretty nasty, but it's not the stuff I used to watch where talking about Brock Lesnar and Jeff Hardy in the same podcast, is Jeff Hardy is responsible for doing the loudest chair shot in existence to Brock Lesnar's head.
Ooh.
And the reason is because Brock basically would ragdoll him every night on the house shows, and he had to take multiple F5s and power bombs, and he's like, well, I just saw it as my chance to get mine. And so and you did it for the loud noise as well back in those days. But yeah, the loudest chair shot, and it's from this skinny little Punk dude onto Brock Lesnar, at the point where Brock Lesnar is still the weight he was, not the sort of incredibly ripped version for the age that he is now.
Well, he's just now going to go back and become a farmer, I reckon.
Well, no, continue. There's no become. When Brock's not on screen and fighting in one form or another, he is literally farming and being
nice.
One of those guys that can throw hay bales. Because it was, do you know who Omos is? Because this is going back. Omos is the guy that made Brock Lesnar look small. He's that tall. He's that much of a big lad. And there's a Chris Van Villay short I was watching where Chris goes, oh, did you worry about Brock getting you up for the F5? And Omar starts laughing. He's like, you kidding? That farm boy? No, he's throwing hay bales that are bigger than me every day. He's like, oh, he's floated up. He's like, it was the easiest thing in the world. There was no struggle. There was no twitch of him not being able to do it. I was just straight up, straight down, absolutely easy. And what's lovely is I think that Brock is getting to the point where his last match that we watched, I'm not sure that he would be capable of manhandling over Femi around the ring as much as he used to without turning purple, puce. Because he's always gassed himself red, but Brock is an example of somebody that just turns red because of his skin tone and then wrestles like he's about to pass out for the whole match. But yeah, this was, you could see the same smile that Cena had when he did the tap to Gunther, is Brock had exactly the same one. Is this was fun, but I'm so pleased that I don't actually have to do this again.
Yeah.
And then talking of Cena, the Danhausen Cena bit in the ring, so stupid. like Miz being carried out by the tiny Danhausens. But it was seen as genuine reaction to just going, I love being retired. What is this?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? To see that genuine
it's almost the
enjoyment.
same face he had when Bianca Belair announced their pregnancy right in front of him in the ring.
And again, he's such an ambassador for this stuff because he's like, thank you for letting our family be part of your family.
Yeah.
Because I also like, big shout out to John, always knowing what to say, is he was asked in public the trans question, like, how do you feel about a trans wrestler? And his answer is so perfect. He's like, in a world where the business is storytelling and emotion, he's like, it doesn't matter what creed, colour, gender, however you identify. If the story's good and it respects the person, that's the only thing I care about. What an awesome answer, because what does it matter in that circumstance? And I like the fact they took what is meant to be like a loaded vox pop moment and turned it into a beautiful moment of acceptance.
That's cool.
John Cena is just... like,
the GOAT.
And I love him because he's also the guy that can be that, but also know that he's selfish enough that he would have made a terrible dad because he likes being John Cena too much and likes having the life that he has. So he's not going to be an absent father. Genuinely love that man for, like, being the celebrity that knows what it takes to be one and doesn't pretend he's anything else. Like, we should have more people that are, you know, sort of recognising the trappings. And shout out to Bianca for doing a very similar thing, which is something our manager pointed out straight away. It's like, well, if you pulverise the bones in your hands to the point you don't know when you're coming back, and you want to start a family, in a physical business like wrestling, double stack your reasons to not wrestle, and you're laughing. And I'm so pleased for her as well, because I remember her mentioning it on Unreal that she was the one thinking about how she could plan it in and stuff like that. So I'm so pleased for her. And got to get this right because I said the wrong name yesterday. It was hilarious. Montez Ford, not Montel Williams, which is where my brain went when because I just said what I thought the name was, and then had a very good laugh at the idea of like this old American chat show host coming back in and being like a wrestling manager or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's bad storylines. But no, I'm really pleased. And I know it wasn't WrestleMania, but you know the Andre the Giant match?
Yes.
One of my favourite moments in that is when they cut to it starting and Johnny Wrestling's just laid out doing the same depressed bit.
Trip someone over.
Yeah, it shouldn't make me laugh as much as it did, but it was just the fact that everybody else is ready and he's just laid out on the side of the ring. And then when he got eliminated, did you notice that he, about halfway through falling out, decided to commit back to that depressed lie down? So he just very gently flops straight back into it. I never saw how funny he was before, but this definitely has shown why people love him so much. And Tommaso Ciampa, his old tag team buddy, he really needed to go and find himself in AEW, and it worked incredibly well for him. That he was an instant title holder, I think.
Oh, right, okay.
I think it was one of his first matches. I don't follow AEW, so do correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I think it was one of his first matches, if not the first, that he got title gold.
Nice.
And for a guy that, like, you can't say that he doesn't give to every moment of TV that he has, because he was always the insane guy in the tag team division that shouted at everyone. So I can see why he needed to go off and pull a Jey Uso, but needed to do it in AEW. I'm not sure. Manager, is there any matches that we should have covered but haven't covered?
Fiend?
Oh, not the Fiend, the Demon versus Dominik.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be the only other one.
Yeah, that was been on the cards for
I really did
forever,
enjoy it, though.
wasn't it? It was fun, yeah.
Because, one, Dom, I don't know if it's intentional or it's just part of who he is, but when the crowd was booing him for not getting a ladder or table up in time, just turning around like this old man and just like grunting or growling at the right, what are you doing? Like, wrestling's hard. And you don't know with him, like Danhausen, whether it's planned or not. It's just so natural. But yeah, I really, the body paint of the Demon is just
it was
fantastic.
cleverly done, wasn't it? Like front and back, even though they had Demon written
I was going to
on
say,
it.
like, we've got to talk about the fact he had his name written on him like a football jersey, because that was just a bit odd. I also,
and didn't you say he lost the contact halfway through?
I thought he had both in, but it did seem to me like he had two red eyes when he came down the ramp, and then one went to blue, and it definitely wasn't the Snapchat filter they use on Seth Rollins.
No.
That was the other one. We haven't really done Seth and Gunther, but that's because it was just a slugfest with
just
two technicians.
Slappy.
But if you like that type of wrestling, they put on a really good show.
Yeah, if you like the sound of meat being pulverised, then that was it.
I've been in the nosebleed seats with Gunther doing a slap fest, and I kid you not, you can hear his slaps all the way to the rafters. But yeah, Seth's Snapchat filter did make me laugh, because I was like, wait, there's literally no like gap, and I was like, wait, the reason this looks so familiar is because, you know, a few years back when I was still just about in my 20s, I was doing the black-eyed Snapchat filter and like trying to look all, you know, underworld, I think, is with it. And I have this on reliable source from the manager who wears contacts on the daily, is she can take them out. I've watched her do it in less than 20 seconds, both in less than 20 seconds, but you can't do it by doing that. So I reckon that was just to make it look like he had taken them out, but it was actually a chance for them to turn off this filter.
Okay.
What's really good is it didn't start picking up any other member of the crowd and switching where the filter's made. Suddenly, like, this little girl at the side of that has like really dark eyes, and Seth's gone back to normal. But yeah, I think that covers absolutely everything. I really like, for a 42, for you know, still in the shadow of how good 40 was and how difficult it is to do the first few after an anniversary event like that where you pull out all the stops. I thought it was decent.
Yeah,
I thought it was better than, excuse the language, fucking Travis Scott. I really didn't like that. I just, partly because
Speed was a better booking.
Speed was a better booking, but that's because Speed actually turned up to the wrestling training program. Oh, Diddums, did you get an owie? That's what Triple H said. Yeah, so that's what I don't like, is when people sign up to do something and then don't see it through. Travis Scott could have been a fun angle if we had seen it through to...
Well, even Jelly came back.
Yeah, Jelly followed his... But it's not just the rapper that did it. I don't like the fact that The Rock, when, you know, whatever it was, and like kept doing all of this stuff and then has disappeared. I get that he's obviously got other stuff to do and he's a very busy, popular man, but it feels weird when they just go, oh, we're not going to, like, something as big as The Rock having like a
He'll be back for next year in Riyadh, that's the plan.
Well,
I reckon.
This is the thing that we been chatting about in the most of the day today and most of yesterday, is we're sensing that there's going to be a return of like a corporation, authority. I mean, Vince McMahon just did it by being Vince McMahon, but we're thinking that they're actually going to start doing that thing where it's WWE as the babyface company against TKO as like the heel authority corporation style company.
Makes sense.
Because not only have they been laying groundwork for that with Roman sassing the current direction, all of the promo from Pat, CM and everybody, like, really eviscerating TKO. But who's the director of TKO?
The final boss.
Mr. Rock himself. Like, as long as he can still go, that would be a really fun, like, way of actually making the final boss.
All he's got to do is just turn up in Riyadh. He doesn't... I don't know if he actually could wrestle.
It's The Rock. I'm pretty confident that The Rock will still be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, having gone to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, to work out for 3 hours, I don't know, drink unicorn blood, and then go have a wrestling match. The man is just, like, there are very few people in the world like him or a Brock Lesnar that can do the things that they do for as long as they do. So, no, I still think The Rock would probably be training from this point forwards to return at Riyadh for Beat the Final Boss, a TKO storyline, which I also think, based on what he was saying in like Jimmy Fallon interviews, is we're finally going to get Rock versus Roman, but it will be Roman fighting for the WWE and Rock being the final boss of TKO, and that's going to be how we get the match.
Tune in next year for more thrilling...
Call it right now, but no, we're done. This has been most of the day that we've been doing this. Join us next week for whatever that podcast ends up being. I don't think we've even really planned it yet. So make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
And acknowledge.
And acknowledge the This Week's Show podcast.
or you are cursed.